Ladies and gentlemen, Modern Warfare 2 is officially out. We've got campaign, spec ops, and of course, multiplayer. And that is what we're going to be talking about today, how to get better at multiplayer. This game is tough. It's a very fast time to kill. The maps are very different than previous Call of Duty games. And on top of that, some of the weapons are a little bit tricky to get used to. So I thought I would make a video giving you guys 10 tips that will immediately help you improve and become a better Modern Warfare 2 player. I try to do this every year, but this year has some far different tips than what I would normally give for a Call of Duty game. For many reasons. The minimap's different, the guns are different, time to kill is different. So that means you're going to have to change up your playstyle a little bit, and you'll see what I mean when we dive into the tips. Now, before we do that, speaking of playing well, let me tell you about today's video sponsor. Now, I know a lot of you who watch my videos are content creators yourself or streamers, and that is why today's video is sponsored by Sizzle.gg. And on top of that, if you stay tuned to the end of this segment, you're going to see a way to get your hands on a Modern Warfare 2 related giveaway as well. Now, Sizzle.gg has been a partner of the channel for a while now, but if you don't know what they are, essentially they are a website that you can go to, no download, no software required, and get your hands on action-packed highlights from your streams on YouTube or Twitch with just the click of a button. Sizzle.gg basically saves you time and money because you don't need to hire an editor or do the editing yourself. You just go to Sizzle.gg and it immediately picks out the best parts from your YouTube streams on various different games, including Call of Duty Warzone, Valorant, Dead by Daylight, Fortnite, Apex Legends, League of Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, FIFA, and very, very soon, Modern Warfare 2. They're doing something very, very cool to celebrate the release of Modern Warfare 2. Essentially, they are doing a Modern Warfare 2 giveaway where all you have to do is go to Sizzle.gg. It is the first link down in the description. Sign up, link your YouTube or Twitch account, and make a highlight, a sizzle. And then just by doing that, you are entered into the giveaway. And they're essentially putting two $70 prizes out there, which they're going to add directly to your PayPal account. And all you got to do is make a highlight, link your YouTube or Twitch account, which is absolutely awesome. I'm telling you, this will save you time. It will save you money. It makes it very, very easy to get highlights from your streams. So check out Sizzle.gg, first link down in the description. And thank you, Sizzle, for sponsoring the video. So even before we dive into the game, I'm going to give you a couple of tips that should immediately make you a better player. And that is with controls. So the first thing that you're going to want to look at here is your button layout. Now, personally, I use a tactical button layout. The reason why I do that is because it puts all your movement mechanics onto your thumbsticks, which means you don't have to press any buttons or take your thumb off the aim to actually do something. So sliding, instead of having to press the circle button, I can press R3 and still be aiming while I do so. I have done this since the very first time I played Call of Duty, and I have never gone back. The other thing is your sensitivity. Sensitivity is going to be a little bit more important in this game because of something that I'm going to talk about a lot throughout this video. Headshots are huge in this game. The headshot multiplier is very high and reduces the time to kill drastically, which means you have to be a little bit more accurate. You can't just hit chest shots and expect to win every gunfight. So I play on a little bit lower sensitivity than I normally do. I normally play on 8. In this game, I find 6 is working better for me. But as far as your sensitivity goes, try out a sensitivity, and if it doesn't feel right, change it and then stick with it for half hour, a few games. You'll get a feeling for what feels right for you, and every player is going to be different here. Now, the other thing is aim assist. So aim assist that I use is default aim assist type, and then my aim response curve, I use dynamic. The reason why I do that is it just feels a little bit smoother. It's what the pros use, and if you haven't tried it out yet, I very highly recommend it. The next thing I wanted to talk about is weapons. Now, this is a tough one in this game because, as I just mentioned, headshots are very, very important, which means accuracy is very, very important. Which means time to kill on a weapon might not be the most important stat to pay attention to. It might actually be recoil or aim down sights time, because the first person to aim at a head is generally going to win a gunfight. Now, if you're newer to the game, you're going to want to either stick to probably an assault rifle or an SMG, depending on the map that you're playing on. What I've had a lot of success with and what I've seen a lot of my friends use is, first of all, the M4, which you have right away, but the cast-off weapon tree has a lot of really good weapons, so that would be the one that I would try out secondary. Now, as far as when you actually make your classes, there's two things I want you to pay attention to. Once you have a weapon fully leveled up, you're going to be able to go into the gunsmith and say you choose an underbarrel, for example, you can then tune that attachment. As you can see here, I can make it so the hip recoil control is way higher or the walking speed is way faster. But when you do one, the other gets worse. Same down with aim down sight speed and hip fire accuracy. Now, as a general general rule of thumb here, if you find a weapon very accurate, the next stat you're going to want to make better is aim down sights time and sprint out time, because that's going to pop you on target faster. The problem is with a lot of attachments, it's going to make you less accurate. However, with this, for example, this makes your hip fire accuracy worse, but your ADS better. With assault rifles, I'm not often aiming from the hip, which means it's a very good trade-off. Essentially, what you want to pay attention to is damage, fire rate, aim down sight speed, sprint out time, and then recoil depending on the weapon. If it's a really accurate weapon, you can make the recoil a little bit worse. It might be a good trade-off. The next thing I wanted to look at is perks. Perks in this game are very strange. Basically, you start out with 2 base perks, and then you move into the bonus perk and ultimate perk, which you have to earn throughout the game. Now, as far as what perks you should actually use, this is where things get a little bit difficult, but I want to break it down in a very simple way for you. There's essentially 3 different types of perks. There's perks that give you information, there is perks that take away information from the enemies, and there are perks that make your soldier better. If you're looking at what I have right now, these first 2 perks that I have make my soldier better. I can run faster and I take less damage from explosives, so my soldier is better. My fast hands makes it so I reload faster, again making my soldier better. High alert is different. It doesn't make my soldier better, it personally makes me better because it gives me more information. An example of the 3rd type of perk that I was talking about would be something like Ghost, because it takes away information from the enemies. Generally speaking, the type of perks that are better are the type of perks that give you more information, because it literally makes you better at the game. However, Ghost is also a very good perk because it takes away information. And as far as the rest of them, most of the first tier perks are simply going to make your soldier better, except for Tracker. Tracker, I think, is going to get overlooked. And if you're a new player, it's going to help you with the location of enemies because, well, you're going to be able to see their footsteps. As far as your second perk, the only 2 that I really see use in using are either Fast Hands and Focus. They make your soldier better. Either you're going to have less flinch or you're going to reload faster. Personally, I play a little bit more aggressively, so I use Fast Hands. If you play more aggressively, use Fast Hands. If not, use Focus. I real quickly wanted to go over field upgrades and kill streaks as well. As far as field upgrades go, they're a little bit different, but very similar to perks. So munitions box, for example. Simply said, it makes your soldier better because it gives him more ammo. Dead silence makes your footsteps silent. It makes your soldier better. There are very few field upgrades here that give you more information, portable radar being one of them, and another one being tactical camera, but I find it a little bit annoying to use. Personally, the general ones that I stick to, once unlocked, I will probably be using dead silence. Munition box is good. Portable radar, I think, is a little bit overlooked. Battle rage is okay, but again, takes up a little bit of time, and I don't see it getting too much use. But essentially, dead silence is going to be the big one. Kill streaks, I look at in 3 different tiers. If you're a great player, the ones you're going to want to use are the ones that give you more information and take away information from enemies. So essentially, UAV, counter UAV, and advanced UAV for the best tier of players. For the second best tier of players, they are going to want to use the streaks that are going to get them kills, but don't take up their time. What I mean by that is the cruise missile takes up your time. It'll generally get you 1 kill, but you can't be getting gun kills at the same time. Even the SAE, you have to pick where you call it in, going to take up your time, reduce the amount of time you're getting kills. So if you're a good player, you're going to want to use things that you can just press a button, call them in, they will get you kills. Things like the Overwatch Helo are a great example of that. And finally, for your bottom tier of players, you are just going to simply want to use streaks that 1, you can actually achieve, and 2, are going to help you out. Generally speaking, UAV is a pretty good bet, but other things like a cruise missile are guaranteeing you 1 kill. It's going to help your kill death ratio and help you get more kills, more score, more XP, and become better at the game. So now that we have a good idea of what to choose before hopping into a game, let's look at actually playing the game. This game is tough. The time to kill is really fast, headshots do a lot of damage, and skill-based matchmaking is definitely a thing. So how can you improve while you play? Essentially, there is 3 different tips I want to give you in regards to this that I think are immediately going to help you out a lot. The first of which is map navigation. Map navigation is tough in this game because I think the way that they have designed maps is pretty weird. Two rules of thumb that I like to follow is, generally speaking, you're going to do better if you are higher. And no, not the way you're thinking. What I mean by this is getting to a higher level of a building is going to give you more of a field of view on your enemies, and on top of that, make it harder for you to actually get shot. And generally, when you're further up, you have more cover as well. There is a lot of areas on maps where you can do this, but keep in mind while you're doing it, you're going to be less maneuverable. So if you're a better player, this is something you might not want to do. Another tip that I have followed for a very long time, but is tough on some of these maps, is sticking to the outskirts of the map. And the reason for that is if your back is to the outside of the map, no one can be behind you, meaning you don't have to keep your eyes on 360 degrees, only 180. Now, this is tough in this game because on a lot of the maps, the outside of the map's pretty dead. They try to focus a lot of the action on the middle, which means it's very hard to stick to that and still be in the action. Aside from that, the other maps sometimes are in really close quarters, you can't flank, and being on the outside is actually at a disadvantage. So the way that Modern Warfare designs their maps is with power positions in mind. Positions that you are generally up above people, looking over top of people, that will give you an advantage that you can control. There'll generally be 2 to 3 lines of sight out of these, and they will be looking over the very highly populated areas of the map. The problem you're going to have to deal with is a lot of grenades being thrown your way, and of course that higher action. Now, another reason why map navigation is a little bit tougher within Modern Warfare is because the way they do the mini-map. When people fire their weapons, they don't show up on the mini-map. Silencers don't matter because of this, but there's a couple things you can pay attention to that'll make this a little bit easier. First of all, you can still use your minimap in a way. Pay attention to where your teammates are, and if one of your teammates has recently died or disappeared from the minimap, you will know that an enemy will be close by, and if you use your ears and eyes, see where and hear where bullets are coming from, you can generally get a pretty good idea of where enemies are based off of that. The other thing, and one thing that I think is very overlooked, is the compass at the top of the map. The compass still shows red dots of enemies who are firing their weapon. So it won't give you their exact location, but it'll give you a direction. And if your map knowledge is good enough, you can generally have a pretty good idea as to where those enemies are going to be. The last thing, and one thing that people are going to have to learn, get better at, and improve at throughout this game, are footsteps. They have changed the footstep audio since the beta. It's a little bit more quiet, but they're still very loud. And with the lack of red dots on minimap, it's something that you're going to need to pay attention to. This has made oodles easier if you have a headset. Now, back in the day, you used to have to spend like $300 on a decent headset in order to be able to hear footsteps well. Now, generally speaking, most headsets you can buy are really going to help you out, some of which are like $50. So if you don't have a headset, I would invest in one. And then you need to start paying attention to footsteps. Listen to the surface people are walking on, listen to the speed and direction, and immediately you'll be able to tell where some of the enemies are. This is much easier to do while standing still, but hey, I don't try to camp, so I'm not doing that very often. It's definitely a learned skill and one you're gonna have to get better at, and basically the only thing on this list that is not going to immediately help you out. It's gonna be something you have to learn and get better at. But essentially, that is the list. A list of things you can immediately change and do to make you better at Modern Warfare 2, improve that kill-death ratio, make you have more fun, and hopefully it helped you out. If anything on there did, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn notifications on to stay up to date with everything Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty, Warzone, everything like that. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know how you're enjoying the game. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the